Raiffeisen Zentralbank Österreich AG is the central institution of the Raiffeisen Banking Group Austria and also functions as the group center for the entire RZB Group, of which the listed company Raiffeisen Bank International AG with its banking network in Central and Eastern Europe is the largest member. It has subsidiaries in, amongst others, Ukraine, Hungary, Czech Republic, Romania, Kosovo, Albania, Bulgaria, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Croatia, and Switzerland. The largest of these subsidiaries by far is Raiffeisen Bank, which accounts for 74% of the company's pre-tax profit. The RZB Group is the third largest Austrian bank. As of end 2010, the balance sheet total of the RZB Group amounted to €136.5 billion. RZB has several specialized subsidiaries. Raiffeisen Zentralbank Österreich AG is a member of Austrian Raiffeisen Association, which amongst other things functions as the interest representation association for all Austrian Raiffeisen cooperatives. History: the incorporation meeting of the shareholders of the Gyro Center of the Austrian Raiffeisen cooperatives was held on August 16, 1927. With this, a central institution was established for the Raiffeisen Banking Group, and since then this institution has functioned as the national and international representative and coordinator for the group. The founding took place roughly 4 decades after the establishment of the first Austrian savings and loan cooperative to use the system devised by Friedrich Wilhelm Raiffeisen. The original company name was Girozentrale der Paragraph-Streichischen Genossenschaften. In 1939, after the German annexation of Austria, the new German owners changed the name to Genossenschaftliche Zentralbank der Ostmark-Gesellschaft, and then in 1942 to Genossenschaftliche Zentralbank Wiener Gesellschaft. From 1953 on, the new name was Genossenschaftliche Zentralbank Gesellschaft, with the abbreviation GZB also being used for the company. Since 1989, the bank has been named Raiffeisen Zentralbank Österreich Gesellschaft, abbreviated as RZB. Founded primarily as a liquidity equalization office for the Raiffeisen Banking Group, the company already in its first 10 years of operation significantly expanded its business activities to include fields such as foreign exchange and currency transactions, lending, acceptance of deposits and investment in securities. Along with this, the Bank Euro unregistered trademark S staff also increased significantly, rising to 85 employees at the end of its first decade of existence. In 1938, one day after the German occupation of Austria, it was taken over by a provisional administrator and subsequently nationalized. The bank was not returned to its pre-war owners until 1955. Key developments since the 1950s. In the 1950s, GZB began to expand and transform its foreign operations. This was also clearly reflected in the Bank Euro unregistered trademark S growth, with the number of staff rising to almost 200 by 1957. At the end of the 1950s, the bank began to found specialized companies or to invest in them. Working with the cooperatives also allowed the institution to offer each and every Raiffeisen bank and its customers a universal range of financial services. The product portfolio of the Raiffeisen Banking Group was further expanded with the founding of Raiffeisen Building Society, Raiffeisen Insurance, Raiffeisen Leasing and other specialized companies. Expansion in Central and Eastern Europe beginning in the 1980s. Along with its position as one of the largest commercial and investment banks in Austria, RZB started developing another main area of business already in the 1980s, founding the present-day Raiffeisen Bank in Budapest in 1986. This very early strategic decision to expand into Central and Eastern Europe proved to be one of the most important decisions in RZB Euro unregistered trademark S history. Starting from 1989, with the collapse of the communist regimes, RZB focused intensely on CEE, initially founding numerous banks to build up a viable network, which was then complemented with acquisitions starting from 2000. Along with Austria, RZB considers CEE to be its home market. the subsidiary bank Raiffeisen Bank International was formed, merging Raiffeisen International Bank Holding AG in the corporate banking business and related participations from RZB. RZB currently holds a stake of approximately 78.5% and operates one of the largest banking networks in CEE. Since 2000. In 2005, it bought Ukrainian Bank Aval, and renamed its subsidiary Raiffeisen Bank Aval. In 2007, Raiffeisen made a $1.48 billion, 79% of it from operations abroad. A group of 10 Central and Eastern European banks, which included Raiffeisen Bank chairman Herbert Stepek as spokesman, asked the ECB to extend their bailout. In June 2013, Raiffeisen supported the nationalized Volksbanken by purchasing a package of poor loans worth $300 million from them. In February 2014, it was reported that Raiffeisen Bank International was re-evaluating their participation in the Eastern European and Russian markets, where 57% of Raiffeisen's total assets are, according to bank data. Roughly half of the loans Raiffeisen and its subsidiaries have made in Ukraine were in US dollars, while many loans in Hungary were in Swiss francs. As local currencies tumble, those loans have become more expensive for borrowers to pay off. The bank has asked the Austrian taxpayer to buy preferred shares of Raiffeisen valued at a $1.75 billion in a capital-raising measure. The coupons would pay 9.3% annual interest and must be repaid within 5 years, said an Austrian Finance Ministry spokesman. Owners: RZB is 87.70% owned by Landsbanken Beteiligung GmbH, which in turn is owned by the 9 Austrian Raiffeisen regional banks. Other RZB owners include UBG Banken Beteiligungsgesellschaft mbH, UNIQA Versicherungen AG, the warehousing group RWA Raiffeisenware Austria, Raiffeisen Beteiligung GmbH and Landhypothekenbank Steiermark. Specialized companies: almost all of the specialized companies of the Raiffeisen Banking Group are also subsidiaries of RZB. These include Valida Holding AG, Raiffeisen Bausparkasse, Raiffeisen Capital Management, Raiffeisen Kapitalanlagegesellschaft T, Raiffeisen Firma Paragraph Gensverwaltungsbank AG, Raiffeisen International Fund Advisory, Raiffeisen Immobilien Kapitalanlage GmbH. Raiffeisen Zentralbank, Raiffeisen Datennetzgesellschaft mbH. Raiffeisen Evolution Project Development GmbH, Raiffeisen Factor Bank AG, Raiffeisen Informatik GmbH, Raiffeisen Investment AG, Raiffeisen Leasing, Raiffeisen Versicherung, Raiffeisen Wohnbaubank, RSC Raiffeisen Service Center GmbH, Raiffeisen Software Solution on Service GmbH. Raiffeisen Bank International Viaduct. Its listed subsidiary Raiffeisen Bank International, RZB, operates a banking network in Central and Eastern Europe. 17 markets are covered with subsidiary banks, leasing companies and representative offices. As of end 2010, RBI served more than 14 million customers via roughly 3,000 branch offices. At the end of February 2010, RZB CEO Walter Rothensteiner announced that a possible merger of RZB with Raiffeisen International Bank Holding AG was being considered. 2. This move would open up broader access to the capital, money and bond markets. As all of these changes would take place within the group, it would have no impact on the equity capital ratios. The newly founded Raiffeisen Bank International AG would contain RI and those parts of RZB that do not involve business with the Raiffeisen sector. Business related to RZB's function is the central institution of the Raiffeisen Banking Group, and those participations relevant for this sector were to remain at RZB. On April 19, 2010, the executive boards of the two institutions resolved to present a proposal on this merger to the shareholders for approval. At the general shareholders meeting on July 7, 2010, the shareholders of RZB voted to spin off the bank's commercial customer business into the related participations from RZB and to merge these with RI. The next day, the shareholders of RI approved this merger at a general shareholders meeting. The newly founded institution, Raiffeisen Bank International AG, began its activities on October 11, 2010. Participations: Raiffeisen Zentralbank, The Raiffeisen regional banks and Raiffeisen Holding Niederer Paragraph-Wien have numerous investments in companies in various fields of business. The most well-known of these are UNIQA Versicher Rungen AG, Agrana, Strabag, Mediaprint, Celine-Österreich, Landshypothekenbanken für obere Paragraph-, Salzburg and Saliermark, Du & Company, Daimel, Österreichische Lotterien. Additional companies in which RZB holds a stake include Catherine & Company, Privatgesche Currencyfondsbank AG, Nota Treuhand Bank AG, ZHS Office and Facility Management GmbH. Controversy. A number of investigators have suggested that Raiffeisen Zentralbank is involved in laundering money for the Russian mafia. The new interim Ukraine Prime Minister, Arseniy Petrovich Yatsenyuk, worked for Aval in the past when some of that immense amount of money was laundered through the bank. When Moldovan journalist Natalia Mora investigated money flows involving Raiffeisen Zentralbank, she said she received a death threat from the FSB and she was banned from Russia. A Gazprom spokesman has said that Raiffeisen Investment AG is a Gazprom partner in Rosukrrenergo, an opaque Ukrainian company. On August 6, 2004, Interfax reported 100% subsidiaries of Russia's Gazprom Bank and Austria's Raiffeisen Bank created the Rosukrrenergo company for the supply of Turkmen gas to the Ukrainian market. The company, shared by the parties 50-50, will be registered in Switzerland. However, Raiffeisen Investment has said that it only manages Rosukrrenergo for unknown Ukrainian businessmen. According to documents uncovered during the United States diplomatic cables leak, U.S. diplomats suspected Raiffeisen Investment was a fund to provide legitimacy to the gas company that we suspect the U.S. indicted Russian crime boss Semyon Mordulevich controls. One of the cases involved Russian bank called Discount. To illustrate the scale of money laundering, $1.6 billion was transferred from Discount Bank's accounts to Raiffeisen on August 29, 2006. According to New York Times, Discount received a 10% commission from the money transfers. In September 2006, the deputy chairman of the Central Bank of Russia, Andrei Kozlov, revoked Discount's license. Just days later Kozlov was murdered. The bank has been also suspected of laundering money for the Italian mafia. Notes and references. External links, Raiffeisen official website, Raiffeisen Zentralbank Österreich AG official website, Raiffeisen Bank International AG, RZB Outlook for Commonwealth of Independent States.